Hello everyone and welcome back to the Sedona International Film Festival. I'm your host, Carol Kahn. We are coming to you live from the Sedona Rouge Hotel. Sedona Rouge is one of our sponsors, along with Sedona Advertising Agency and Broadcast Rentals. I'd like to thank our sponsors for participating this year in the film festival. And we are the Filmmakers Film Festival, so I'd like to introduce to you one of our filmmakers, and you are?
Mike Olbinski.
Mike Olbinski. And Mike Olbinski, your film MONSOON V, correct? So that means
Yes.
there's Monsoon 1, 2, 3, 4, and also 6.
6 coming sometime, maybe next year. If it's
Coming
a good year.
soon.
Yes.
And basically, it's a lot of photography and time-lapse of monsoons here in Arizona.
That's right. I mean, I'm born and raised here. I've lived here my whole life, so kind of grew up loving weather, and my dad loved it, so, I was fascinated with it. And about 10 years ago, I started going out trying to photograph it and chase it, and somehow evolved into time-lapsing, which is, shooting stills and turning them into video, kind of like animation. And so, since, the first monsoon was like 6 years ago or something, and steadily like getting better and chasing better and learning more. And I feel like, especially this one was one of my best. It was 2018 is when we shot it, or when I shot it, and took about, the whole summer. And a couple really good dust storm days, which really helped make it awesome. So,
well, I want to show the clip of this because it's completely fascinating. And before we even talk further, I would really like people to see this. That is the
preview for next year. I sent you guys the wrong trailer, but at least it's the taste of what I do, basically.
Yes, no, that's amazing. First, I want to ask you, where are you even set up with your camera in filming all of this?
I've been chasing for a while here, so I know lots of spots. A lot of it is finding places on the fly. I call myself a storm chaser and not like a storm waiter, so I don't just kind of pick a spot and just wait and hope a storm comes. I have to go after it and be in the right position of where the dust's gonna hit, where I know it's moving. And so a lot of places are just finding them on the fly. And so that's kind of the fun, the adrenaline rush, but it's also can be super frustrating with power lines and cities and just roads and other people and whatever. So it gets frustrating, but out here, I've learned some really good spots and starting to learn the patterns a little more and know this dust storm is going to roll right down I-8 to Yuma today. And so I know where to be and the overpasses and exits that I like, and sometimes it works out.
So capturing a photograph, you have to be at the right place at the right time.
Right.
So is there any time when you're not at the right place at the right time?
Oh, I feel like I probably am overly critical of myself, but I definitely wish I was places that I wasn't many, many times. Here in Arizona, I also chase, tornadoes and supercells out on the plains, and I feel like even out there, I have more regrets than I do maybe out here. Because it's a little slower paced out here. The storms don't move as fast. But out there, you get on a great storm and then I see someone else's photo from 100 miles south and I'm like, well, I should have been there. This stinks. I can just throw all my pictures in the trash. And that's what happens. But, the more experience I get, the more I'm also starting to just kind of be happy with the footage I get because you just can't be everywhere at the same time.
Right. Are you one of those photographers that when you see something you have to like jump out of your car and get the shot, or do you have your camera with you all the time? I'm sure.
I've learned a little bit of balance in my life. I have 3 kids, and when there's no storms, which is generally from about mid-October to April for me, I try to like spend time with them and go to soccer games. And I also photograph weddings and do family photography. So sometimes I'll have the camera in my car from that, but I rarely chase very much now in the off season because I try to like just take a break. But during the storm season, my cameras are just half the time, I don't leave in the back of my car because I don't want anyone to take them, but they're always with me. And I will, if I see something great, I'm going to jump out of the car, although I want good spots. I can't just stop and shoot if there's, a Best Buy in front of me or some kind of obstruction. I need it to be the right location, so I'm pretty picky.
So you don't Photoshop this out?
No, I might Photoshop a couple power lines out if I'm like, this is so good, but there's something right here that, some ugly sign or something that just shouldn't be there, trash on the ground, I might get rid of that. But I try to leave it pretty faithful.
Now, I thought I read somewhere that you took your children with you on monsoon chasing.
Yes. I've even taken them out on the plains a couple times for a couple brief days, and they love it. I've taken my daughter since she was 1.5 years, and she just turned 11 in November. And at the beginning, it was kind of my way to start going out more, but not just feel like I was leaving my wife at home with Lila all the time and having to bear the burden of that. So, in Arizona, I'm not going very far, but, she would sit in the back with a DVD player and go chasing with me. Now, in Arizona, it's pretty safe. There's no tornadoes or giant hail and all that. So she kind of grew up doing it. And then once we adopted our second kid, Eli, and then he started coming when he was probably like 1.5 years or 2. And now I have a third kid. And so they love it. I don't know how many of them will be into the weather. They tell me when it's raining or windy, or the little guy will bring out the radar on his laptop or on his iPad and say, "There's lightning over here, Daddy. We should go get it." And I don't know how much they're gonna like it, but they love to be on the road. They love to get junk food. They just love to be out and run around and be on the roof of the truck. They just love all of that. So, and I love having them. It can be a little frustrating because I'm actually working, but it's the one job that I can bring them to work pretty much anytime I go, as long as it's not a really crazy day.
But I think it's the junk food.
Yeah, they love the junk food. They love being on their iPads and having fun. But I've driven with them from here to Albuquerque in one stint, and they don't complain. They don't care if we're in the car for 9 hours and then barely sleep and then go again for another 5. Like they're great kids. They've been trained well, I guess.
Now, this is definitely a passion for you to do this. So where did it all start?
It started probably when I was a kid. I have not a vague memory, a pretty clear memory of a lightning bolt hitting behind our house, when I was sitting out there on the patio with my dad watching a storm, and it must have hit just a couple 100 feet away because, it was so bright that I felt like I was blinded for, 5 seconds and couldn't see anything. And a lot of storm chasers I've talked to, some of them, they'll have these memories from when they were kids. Like twin brothers had their parents' trailer park destroyed by a tornado while they were there, and they almost died. And then when they were teenagers, they were fascinated with tornadoes and started chasing them, both of them. And so there's a lot of, stories like that. And so that's the first thing I wanted to do, was to photograph lightning. It's probably, if someone said you have to pick one thing to photograph the rest of your life, I love doing all this stuff, but I'm like, if there's only one thing, I might pick lightning, because it's so different and so fun and unique, and you never know what you're going to get with it. And so I think it was kind of born from that, and I've just always loved it. I've had friends tell me I should have been a meteorologist, but I would never do the math. Like, I hate that. I could never do it. So that was just kind of like part of me, and I would think I always looked for a way to share it. I'd always tell my friends on Facebook there's storm coming, or share like how much rain we got. So there was something there always inside me wanting to share this, and I think once I figured out photography, this was like, wow, this is the ultimate way that I can share my passion with other people.
And how long would you say your cameras, because you don't shoot just with one camera,
Right.
you have multiple cameras.
Yes. Probably, I'm shooting time-lapse with 2 cameras usually if it's a good storm. Sometimes 3 if I need to. And then the the third or the fourth one will just be doing stills. There's lightning. I love lightning. And some of these cameras, there's you can buy an accessory that detects the lightning and tells your camera to take a picture when it senses it, and it's instant. And so you can set up a still camera to just shoot lightning bolts, So I have those cameras rolling all the time, and just trying to get the best stuff I can.
And you're not fearful at all of shooting?
I'm fearful. I'm definitely fearful. I get scared of lightning. If it's in front of me, it doesn't bother me that much, but when lightning hits behind me and the storm is supposed to be in front of me, that freaks me out. And that just happened. Some storms we had a couple weeks ago here in Arizona went down to I-8. Storm is in front of us, the rain is there. That's where the lightning should come out, and one hit behind us on the other side of the interstate. I'm like, okay, I'm too far from my car. I'm just gonna go pack up and set my camera out front and let it do its job while I sit in the safety of the car. So lightning kind of terrifies me. And chasing, out here in the deserts, like Quartzsite area south of there at night when there's been a lot of rain, flash flooding it can just cross the road in an instant. So that can be a little nerve-wracking when it's dark out and you can't see over the rolling hills we have here in the desert. So that can be a little frightening. And tornadoes and stuff can be if you don't have a good road network, it can get a little hairy. And I've been frightened a couple times, but for the most part, you have the experience where you really know you're safe. It's kind of just a mental thing that's freaking you out a little bit, but you've made all the right decisions and nothing's going to happen. But it gets a little freaky sometimes.
It's not going to deter you, that's for sure.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. So is your house laden with pictures and photographs of all of this?
I have a lot in my office, and the rest of the house we have photographs of other things I've taken, like a picture of New York and the kids and stuff like that fits the decor my wife really likes. But I definitely have photos in my office with that kind of stuff. But I wish that I printed more of them for there. It's hard sometimes to know which ones to print. And if I can, I got a couple from last year that I really liked, and I got those printed and put them in a new place. And I just need to be better about that for sure.
Right. And is this the first time that you're at the Sedona Film Festival? You've been here before.
I've been here. I think this is my fourth time in the festival. It's been really awesome. I'm incredibly blessed and thankful that Sedona Film Festival kind of cares about something like this, because it's a time-lapse film. There's no actors in it. It's just me making it, and the films here are written and directed, and there's actors, and there's just great movies. And to pay attention to something like this it's been awesome. And when I don't remember if it's the first monsoon or the second one that got in the first time for me, but that was incredible. It was a great feeling. And I remember a couple years ago, I don't know which one it was, but we screened it at the big auditorium at the high school. Mm-hmm. And so I got to get up and answer questions, and I think it was packed house because it was a local film here that was filmed in Sedona, so it was like 700 people in attendance. So I got to walk out and talk in front of 700 people. So it was pretty crazy. But it's been an honor. So I'm pretty excited about this year.
Well, don't sell yourself short, because it's absolutely beautiful and edited
Thank
to
you.
the music beautifully as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I try. I mean, I don't know if I feel like it's one of my strengths is to try to find appropriate music or get it created. A couple of these I've had it, created just for my film and worked back and forth with the composer, or searching for a couple months constantly for music that fits, and then not only to use it but to pick the right clips to go with the section of music for whatever reason fits in my head. And there's certain parts I'll hear a track of music, I'm like, this sounds like it's spinning to me, and I put a supercell with it that's spinning. I'm like, that just goes together. And so I don't know, I feel like that's I don't know, I've liked kind of discovering that about myself doing these films, because I never did anything like this before I got into this, and it's been kind of a cool I don't know, evolution or discovery making these films where I can't wait till I have all these clips rendered, and it takes a long time to get it all rendered, and then sitting down and finally getting to put them down to music is just a blast.
Well, there's definitely, I'm sure that you found a rhythm with basically even putting the film together. There's a rhythm
Yes.
To just the footage as well as the music. It just kind of all comes together.
Right, and it's hard when you just have time-lapse clips of weather to tell a story. And I've always tried to somehow put that in there. Whether I start off with just rolling clouds, building up to the best stuff, but I try to do that. In like I think Monsoon V, there's a lot of it where it's scattered. We'll go from storm clouds to lightning, and then back to kind of slow storm clouds and lightning again. So it's kind of like a story with kind of a bunch of highs and lows, but I still save all the best stuff for the end, so it's kind of like a big climactic end. And so in that way, I'm trying to tell a story, so there is a little bit of, kind of a rhythm, knowing I want these for the end with this kind of, special, song that I picked out where it's just a big crescendo or something. And so, yeah, it's gotten speedy for me. I put them together faster than I used to, which is kind of fun.
Well, that's awesome. I can't wait for you to present 6 and 7. So we got to see 6.
Yeah.
I'm ready to see 7, 8, and 9.
Many years from now. I'm so picky now that it's hard. This season was pretty bad, but then the end of the season was good, and I'm like, it's not enough for a full film, so I need to wait for 2020 to see what comes, and then hopefully it'll be enough for Monsoon 6 to finally come out.
Okay, and how can people find out about your film?
You can look me up, Mike Olbinski, Olbinski, and if you Google me, you'll probably see me on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and my website is mikeolbinski.com, and Vimeo and YouTube, so I'm everywhere. I think there might be one other Olbinski with Mike or Michael as their name, and there's not very many of us in the country, so it should be easy to find.
All right, and then where is it showing in the film festival?
It's showing tonight at 7, and I'm going to be honest, I was going to check that after that because I just drove up here, so I'm not sure if it's at the theater right over here or at Harkins, so I'm not sure.
Okay. All right, well, we can't wait to see it and audience reaction and your reaction. I'm really looking forward to that.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And if you're following us on social media, don't forget to hashtag Sedona Film Fest 2020 and hashtag Sedona Film Fest 26. We'll be back with more filmmakers right after this.